The return of serve is always the difference among the top players. It goes without saying that they have good serves, but the difference is always in their return of serves. Connors, Borg. And today we have Djokovic, Del Porto. The return of serve, however, has made a slight change over the years. In the old days, people used to serve and volley. So the return of serve used to be short angles away from the person who was occupying the center. The server came in and plugged the center, which is the best spot for the return. But the charging netman plugged the center, so you were left with the wings. That's what happened when I played tennis, and my consciousness and philosophy were predicated on a man serving and volleying. Today, no one serves and volleys. So the middle, the center, is technically open. The best return of serve is exactly down the middle. You see that today in especially Djokovic, and even more specifically in Del Porto. They hit the ball tremendously hard right down the middle. If you're not going to serve and volley, they're going to hit the ball hard down the middle. This gives the returner, the server, no real angle to develop as his first shot. So it takes the advantage away from the server. Another reason they hit down the middle is that because the serves are coming at 140 miles an hour, 130 miles an hour, it's difficult to finesse a shot, to glance the ball and change the direction. So they continue the center theory of the ball, hitting the ball theoretically back in the direction that it came from without deflection. This is also what I call hitting the ball in the middle of the ocean rather than the seashore. It's very hard to make a mistake in the middle as far as left and right goes, where if you pinpoint it to a line and you're 1% out, you lose the point. This is a change of consciousness than what the return of serve philosophy was in the 40-year past. And we are seeing tremendous returns of serve. This goes along with my philosophy of the center theory, of the opening up of the third hand of the body. After the right and left sides are developed, the third hand of the body opens. As you know, I believe in the tennis of the future, that it will be two forehands, a right hand and a left hand. When these two hands are balanced, a third space opens up, a middle. This middle is now opened up for me in that I'm able to perceive that the return of serve should be right down the middle of the court. And for those who don't do this, may I suggest this is a psychological and a philosophical development. It's much easier on you psychologically if you know you're going to hit in the middle. As I've said, also for approach shots down the middle hard. Same goes for return of serve, down the middle fast, hard, straight down the middle without deflection on the ball. 50 years ago, I read a book on pool, pocket billiards. Willie Mosconi, the greatest pool player, used to say that 90% of all shots could be made center English. One doesn't need a fancy spin to make a ball, or for position on the cue ball. The same thing goes for tennis. 90% of all shots can be hit down the middle in the line that the ball comes to you. This is especially so on return of serve. So now, including this return of serve with one's approach shot down the middle and one's serve itself down the middle of the space, not to the extremes of the forehand or backhand corners, but to the middle of the space. Because putting the ball down the middle of the returner's space is the same thing he's trying to do to you by putting it back into the middle of your space. Cutting the angles in today's game. Today's game, the players are much fitter, faster, trained than years ago. So the advantage of making a man run is less than it was years ago. We're better off slugging it out toe-to-toe than turning it into a side-to-side sprint. They cover the court too well. So for today, I am bringing this return of serve hard down the middle, making it easier for the returner because he doesn't have to go left and right. I always used to go left or right, or even when the man stayed back, I used to try to put it deep into the backhand corner. This was a mistake, an emotional mistake for me. I gave the man angle. I gave the man a chance to develop his already developed advantage of serving first, of the first ball. By neutralizing the position in the center, I've gained more than trying to take the advantage away from him with a first strike into the corners. Remember, we must neutralize first. One of the advantages of playing with two hands is that we develop that center in ourselves, that shushumna, that balance. So one of our fundamentals is to always think of ourselves as balanced, to normalize, neutralize, balance first, and then maybe attack, if needed, because the balance is the ultimate attack.